Hey guys, it's Jimmy Bremner and Dexter the boy, CTOA, and we're out on the urban trail. Going to do a catch-up now, basically, on my vehicle loadout. As I say, you guys are pretty sharp and you always catch something in the video, and I'm happy to follow up. Today, a pretty exciting day. We did some photography. I'm going to be featured in an article regarding combative shooting techniques, and we're reviewing Fairbairn and Applegate. Probably the forefathers of combative shooting worked at Camp X, and there's still some valuable material there, even though we're going back, well over 80 years now. So. Like I said, that's exciting. So let's get caught up on my vehicle loadout. So jumper cables. You're right. I did have them in the vehicle, but they were in that tool bag, that assault pack that I explained, and I didn't want to pull them all out. But you should have jumper cables with you. Now this pair is a pair that you would get. This set is that you would get at a place, maybe Canadian Tire or somewhere like that. Usually comes with a little first aid kit and some reflective road triangles and that type of thing. They're actually not very good quality, but it's better than nothing. The set that I have, they're about 20 feet long, and the reason for that is you should always back into a parking spot, because if you nose into the parking spot and you need a jump start, if you have short cables, you're not going to be able to reach the battery to jump start that disabled vehicle. The other thing you have to understand is it depends on what type of vehicle, what country your vehicle's manufactured in. I like Volkswagens and German cars, and a couple of my German cars, the battery's in the trunk, right? And I know there's some Chryslers like that, but you have to understand that if you have the typical short cables, you may not be able to maneuver the running vehicle into a position where you can, jump start a disabled vehicle. So keep that in mind back into your parking spot. Now, something that's come along in, probably the last, 10 years or so, are these little tiny lithium jump starter packs. And they have a number of advantages. One, that they're small. You do have to charge them. They're better than that old battery-sized jump pack that we used to carry around. I still have one of those, but they're pretty heavy, and this makes a lot more sense. Now these, I like things that do double duty, and what's great about something like this is when I travel, abroad, I carry this to charge my cell phone and other devices I might have with me, like an iPad or something like that. And these things are great for that. It has two USB outputs on it. It has a light that, it strobes and that type of thing. But it's a great little thing, compact to have. Keep in mind, you have to charge them, because if you don't charge them, when it comes time to use it, you won't be able to jump start your car or anything else that you need. As I said, even though the Jeep Commander is an older vehicle, it has an inverter in it, so I can run my vehicle, right, and charge my jump starters and battery packs, as I'm driving the vehicle. So it's like I said, it's an older vehicle, but it has all of those advantages to it. So these are great options. With that said, in the cold of Canada, when it gets cold, these do not work as well as a jump start off of a vehicle. So, so how do you jump start a car if you've never done it? I'm going to suggest that you go onto YouTube and look up, some mechanical type of YouTube channel and let them explain it to you. There are a couple different ways that it can be done. But you have to know the difference between positive and negative and be sure about that. On your own vehicle, make sure that the battery poles are clean and there's no corrosion on them. Some WD-40 and that type of thing on it helps protect that, them from getting corroded. So make sure you're doing that. So, a lot of younger people out there now, and some of you might drive a standard stick shift car, and you may not know this, but you can do something called a bump start on a standard vehicle. That's a vehicle with a clutch. So if you get it rolling downhill and you have a dead battery, you're rolling downhill, and you pop the clutch out, it'll bump the engine and it will start to run and recharge your battery. So again, there's different ways around these things, but you should have a reliable set of cables with you. Make sure your battery's topped up. Back in the day, you used to top up the water in a battery. You don't have to do it anymore. But make sure that the battery is good and your charging system, your alternator is good before we get into winter. If any of you know, a lot of electric vehicles out there now, I'd be interested in how do you start an electric vehicle that is not starting. I would really like to know that and get some information on it. As I said, Canada, for my American friends, it gets cold here, all right? And there are some places where we have to leave vehicles running 24 hours a day because if you shut it off, all the fluids will freeze up or get so viscous that you cannot restart that vehicle. So, as I said, as we move into winter, beautiful day today, but as we move into winter, start thinking about how to prep your vehicle and don't get stuck out there if you don't have to. I just want to show you one last thing. As I said, as we get colder, this is an old school way we used to keep our hands warm, and what is there is a piece of charcoal, and you spark it and you light it, and it will burn very slowly because it can't get a lot of oxygen into this container, and it'll last well over a day, and it keeps your hands really warm. You can still find them. I know there's these hot pads, chemical hot pads and things like that now, but this is actually a pretty interesting way of keeping your hands warm. And then that said, you can use the charcoal actually to light a fire should you need to do that. So that's my catch up on my vehicle loadout. Again, I appreciate you mentioning that I missed something. Like you said, I do these things off the top of my head, all right? So quite often I do forget things, so thanks for reminding me. So that's Jimmy Bremner and Dexter the boy, CTOA, on the Urban Trail, vehicle winter loadout catch up.